told you that thousands of people were being killed every year and that no one was being held accountable, this would surprise you, right? What if I told you that this is happening right here in America? WashingtonPost.com says 638,139 abortions were performed last year. That is 638,169 babies that were killed. So one thing before we continue my speech is that we need to discuss when life begins. Some people think that life begins at a heartbeat, or when the baby is born, or when it starts to move, or all these different things. But I think that life begins at conception. So therefore, I believe that abortion is wrong. I hope in my speech to convey my thoughts clearly and precisely as I discuss this very difficult topic. So I believe that every child should be given a chance at life, and I think that when you have an abortion, the baby obviously isn't given a chance at life. SaveTheStorks.com says, the majority of aborting women have an abortion because they cannot afford a child. What I say to this quote is that the baby doesn't care. The baby doesn't care if you're rich or if you're poor. All it cares about is if you love him or her and take care of him or her. And a lot of people view their unborn child, as a mistake. And I think this is wrong too, because the child didn't do anything wrong. The child is innocent. And I think that it's awful that in America you can literally kill your so-called mistake. SaveTheStorks.com also says a large percent of aborting women have an abortion because the baby would interfere with their school, work, social life, etc. So they're viewing their child as an inconvenience. And I'm not naive to think that babies are super easy and they're a joy to be around all the time. I know that babies are hard, but they're not an inconvenience. So I thought about sometimes elderly people can be viewed as an inconvenience. Well, should we just kill them because they're an inconvenience? No, because they're alive, and so is the baby inside of the stomach. So you're probably wondering what my thoughts are on rape. So first of all, this is very rare, but in any case, the potential the baby has is still there. The potential of that cluster of cells to turn into a baby is still there. The baby is still innocent. So Mother Teresa had a very interesting quote. She said, so this is her view on abortion. She said, I feel the greatest destroyer of peace today is abortion, because it is war against the child, a direct killing of the innocent child, murder by the mother herself. If we can accept that a mother can kill even her own child, how can we tell other people not to kill one another? We must persuade the mothers with love and remind ourselves that love means to be willing to give until it hurts. I think that this is a very good quote. She said that if we're allowing people to kill other people, then how can you say that killing your brother or sister is wrong if your mother just killed her child? So she makes very interesting points. Abortion became legal in 1973 with the Roe versus Wade Supreme Court decision. This started the whole thing between pro-life and pro-choice. Pro-life is letting the baby be born, and pro-choice is letting the mothers decide whether or not they want to kill their child or not. Since then, many abortions have been performed. Ben Shapiro had a very good quote also. He says, a first trimester fetus has moral value because whether or not you consider it a potential human life or a full-on human life, it has more potential than a cluster of cells. If left to its natural process, it will grow into a baby. So the question is, where do you draw the line? So you're going to draw it at the heartbeat, because it's very hard to draw it at the heartbeat. There are people who are alive because of a pacemaker. Are you going to draw it based on brain function? Okay, well, what about the people in a coma? Should we just kill them? Ben Shapiro makes very good points. He talks about a clump of cells and how if left to its own, a baby is more than a clump of cells. If left in the mother's stomach, it would become a baby and a living thing. and we shouldn't just kill that. There's also a lot of emotion that comes from having an abortion, and people I notice don't really talk about this much. I have two very close relatives that have gone through with abortions when they were very young, and they were just out of high school. Felt like they said a lot of things that these quotes were saying, that they didn't have money, they felt like they couldn't provide their child with the things that they needed, and later on, now they're in their 40s and 50s, they regret that decision immensely. They think that they regret it so much, and they even know that the baby's birth date and how old the child would be, and they just wish that they told me that they wish they would have known about the other options. So in conclusion, I'm not here to talk about, I'm not here to judge people. I'm just here to tell people that there are other options, and that you don't have to just think about abortion. There's adoption. There's many people who try to have babies and they can't, so they would love to adopt your baby. So in conclusion, people should think about other options and not just about abortion. That's it. And then here's my audience.